What's going on, everybody? David here. Today, we're going to talk about the second stimulus package, and we're going to give an update. But first off, on this channel, we talk about personal finance and traveling on a budget. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the little bell notification so you can get future updates on my videos. Okay, so today is May 4th, and the Senate convenes today. So just the Senate, not the House. I'll talk a little bit about the House later, but the Senate will be convening. So that means that they will be coming in, their committees, they'll probably be putting out some different proposals. We saw Mitch Romney have a proposal, the Patriot Pay Act. So we're going to probably see some more proposals coming through. But an interesting fact is they're not going to be getting a quick coronavirus test. So they wanted to run the quick coronavirus test, but the Capitol Hill physician said he doesn't have enough to give it out to all of the senators. So they're not going to be able to get that. And that's a little concerning, right? Because a lot of these senators they're up there in age. They're not young. They're 70s and 80s, a lot of them. So this could pose a real risk to them. But we'll see. We'll see how they handle the whole situation. I know they're probably not going to be on the floor. They'll probably be in their offices. And I think a lot of their staff are going to be telecommuting, so they're not going to be coming in. But we'll have to see how this all plays out. One of the things that I thought was interesting, Mitch McConnell, who is the majority leader of the Senate, he is talking about his focus right now is judge confirmation. So they're not even focusing on the stimulus, the second stimulus, or the phase 4 of the stimulus packages. They're not even focused on that. They're focused on the judge confirmations. And there's probably some good reasons for that. And we'll talk about that a little later in this video. But yeah, they will be convening, and the House. Now, the House is not going to be convening. Actually, the Capitol Hill physician recommended that no one convene. So neither the Senate nor the House. And the House is actually going to take the advice of the physician, and they are not going to convene. However, they will still be able to do anything if needed. If they do need to vote on a stimulus package, they can come in and do that. So they're kind of waiting. So now we're going to see the Senate act first, which I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want the Senate to act first because the Senate they've only put out one proposal right now that we know of, the Patriot Pay one, and they haven't put out anything else. They're not talking about any type of stimulus checks or anything like that. So you heard all those different proposals about stimulus checks, and those were coming from the House. So the Senate hasn't talked about any of that. So that leads me to believe that they're going to be focusing on other things and not focusing on stimulus checks or anything like that. But the good thing is what will happen is the Senate will put together whatever their proposal is. They will pass it in the Senate, and then they will pass it on to the House. And then once it goes to the House, then the House, they can make major changes if they want. They don't have to keep the bill as it is. They can make some major changes, but then it has to go back to the Senate. So that's probably what's going to happen. If there's no stimulus checks with the Senate, it's going to go to the House, and then the House is going to look at it. And let's hope the House puts some type of stimulus checks in there and then sends it back to the Senate. And then now the Senate's going to have to make a decision there. And it's going to be a tough decision to make, because if you're saying that you're going to give stimulus checks to Americans and the Senate goes against that, that's going to be a big deal. And especially during an election year. Now, not all the senators are up for a re-election, but everyone in the House is up for re-election. So if it goes to the Senate, they're going to be thinking about how they're going to handle that. And if they do not pass that, then it's going to go right back to the House. And then the House they're going to have to keep working back and forth. And you have people right now who need money, and you have people who still haven't received their first stimulus check. So I think there should be urgency. But the way that things are looking, as far as Mitch McConnell and how he's handling it, he wants to do the judge confirmations first, and then we'll look at maybe a possible next stimulus package. So he's not really rushing through things. So we'll have to see how they handle this whole situation. But I would think they're going to be getting some pressure to do something, at least from the House. The House will probably continue to put out these different proposals, and and when people start hearing all these different proposals, they're going to wonder what's going on in the Senate and why they're not acting on anything. So the next thing I want to talk about is the White House. The White House has a wish list right now. So Larry Kudlow was on TV yesterday, and he was talking a little bit about the things that the president would like to see in this next stimulus package. And so we're going to go over some of those things. So the first thing that he says that he wants on his wish list is a payroll tax holiday for workers. So they're really going to focus on the worker thing, We need to get people back to work. We need to have people who are working get the payroll tax holiday or payroll tax waiver and all that. So that's what the focus is going to be. And you're going to keep hearing that from the White House. You're probably going to start hearing it from Republicans in the Senate. They're all going to be talking about getting people back to work, getting people back to work. The only problem is 30 million people filed for unemployment in the last 6 weeks. 30 million people. So you have a lot of people who are out of work right now. Will they be able to get a job in the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks? Who knows? But right now, times are tough. And you have to deal with the way things are going on right now. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. But right now, payroll tax holiday, that's one thing he wants. Okay, another thing that he's talking about is tax deductions for business events and like sporting events. So he really wants to focus on this. I don't know how this is really going to play out as far as sporting events mainly, because I don't know if people are going to really feel comfortable going to a sporting event anytime soon. Maybe football season, I'm hoping. I love watching football, so I'm hoping that things will die down at that time and we can start getting back to at least watching football and having large groups. But that's another thing he wants to focus on, giving tax deductions for people who are for companies who want to have like events and stuff like that, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work, right? Because the states are going to be in charge of all this. So I don't know how that all plays out as far as these tax deductions and everything. Obviously, the federal government will give them some kind of a kickback in order to have these sporting events, I guess, or have these activities. I don't know. I don't know enough details with that. I'll follow up on that, and we'll have to figure out what exactly he's talking about. But he did mention that as well. And the last thing that he talked about was shielding businesses from liability. So this is a big thing. Mitch McConnell did bring this up last week as far as some type of insurance for these businesses that are opening. And let's say someone goes in there and they get coronavirus, or let's say employees get coronavirus. They don't want to be sued. The businesses don't want to be liable for it. So this is interesting. This is another interesting thing. I from a business standpoint, yes, I can understand the concern. You don't want to be sued. You don't want your company, your business to go under because you were not forced to reopen, but you made the decision to reopen, and then you had something go wrong in a situation like that. So I don't know exactly how that's going to play out either. I don't know. So it's the federal government. They're going to be the ones who are carrying the liability. So if something happens and the federal government steps in and pays for the fees, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Or are you going to be able to go to an insurance company and get insured for coronavirus protection? I don't know exactly what all entails, but these are things that the White House wants. This is their wish list, and this is what they're going to put out there. And you'll see the Senate probably be talking about some different things, and maybe they'll set aside some money that's just there for businesses. Now, I can see small businesses. Yes, I totally understand that. If you're a small business, that could take you under just having a claim like that filed against you. But larger businesses, a lot of larger businesses already have different insurances, and they get insurance on their own. So I don't know how that's gonna take effect. Is it gonna be all corporations, or are we just talking about small businesses and how they can stay afloat if a situation like this does arise? So the last thing I want to talk about is the Money for the People Act. I'm not going to go over all the specifics. It's been out there. This proposal's been out there for a while. So this is the one where you get $2,000 per month per person, age 16 and up, and the top off. So the top salary would be $130,000. So if you make $130,000 or less, then you qualify for this $2,000 a month plus $500 for your dependents. Now this proposal is gaining traction. Now it started on April 14th with 18 co-sponsors, and now they just added an additional 10 co-sponsors. Now they're all Democrats and they're all in the House. And so that's not really going to play that much of a role until after the Senate has voted on what they want to vote on and then send it to the House. And then maybe they'll incorporate that into their bill and then send it back to the Senate. That's probably what will happen if they want to go with this Money for the People Act. But it's interesting. People are starting to look into it, and they're very, very interested in it. And because it is a stimulus check, I think it has a lot of interest because you have a lot of people out there that want a check, that need a check at this point. And so because it's one that does have that check for people, for all people, not just for people who are working, but for people who are on fixed income, Social Security and all that. Because of that, I think it's getting a lot of popularity. Now, I don't know exactly how it's going to play out because that's a lot of money, $2,000 per person per month. for, it could be, I think, up to 6 months or something like that. So that's a lot of money. And I think ultimately what's going to happen is it'll probably, if they do go with this Money for the People Act, it's probably going to get broken down and it'll be a little bit less, maybe $1,000 per month or something like that. But that's kind of the way that I see this playing out if they go with this stimulus check. But I want to know what you guys think. So please let me know down below. Do you like this Money for the People Act? Do you think that this is something that would be good? And one of the things that we have to look at, and like I was saying, 30 million people filed for unemployment in the last 6 weeks. So there are a lot of people that are struggling right now. Now, we don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of months, but right now there are people struggling. So the White House is kind of, they want to take it easy. They want to step back and take a pause. That's what they're saying. Larry Kudlow yesterday basically said that we want to see how the stimulus checks are working, the ones that we've already sent out. We want to see if that has an effect. We want to see if unemployment has an effect. So they want to kind of step back and just see, not do anything. And they might be saying not do anything for all of May. Who knows? But they want to take a little bit of time to kind of see how things are happening. The problem is you have people who need to pay their rent, who need to buy groceries, who need to do all this stuff. And that time that you're waiting, things are just going to get worse. So if you do wait, you could be in a situation where people need even more because now they're back 3-4 months and they need even bigger stimulus checks and the economy might go down even further. So it's, I mean, I've heard people liken this to a firefighter fighting a fire. You want to give it too much water. You want to make sure it's out completely. And then once the fire is completely out, then you can step back and assess the situation. But you need to give it everything. If you give it just a little bit of water, the fire's just going to keep going and it'll get higher and higher and higher. So I don't know exactly what that strategy would be, to just kind of take a pause. I think we can all agree right now we're still in a crisis. So because we're still in a crisis, we're going to need to take these extreme measures in order to get out of this crisis. And so I don't know exactly what the White House is doing, but they're doing what they're doing. So we'll just have to kind of see how this plays out. I want to know what you guys think, though. So let me know down below what you think. Do you guys want another stimulus check? Do you think we need another stimulus check? Please post it down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.